guys, so today I wanted to make a really quick video in response to the storm that just exploded after the interview of Ngozi Adichie, and in which she talked about the experience of trans women and of cis women. If you haven't heard of this, you can always Google it. I'm not gonna sum up the whole thing right here. I'm just gonna give my own opinion about that. This particular case, I just felt like I really wanted to address this because I feel sort of conflicted, and also apparently I do not sit with the majority of people, so personally I think the backlash is a bit too strong and not really justified in my opinion. And why I think the backlash is too strong is because I think the answer raises some very interesting points and valid points that need to be addressed a lot more, and also because it is clearly not against trans women, and it's clearly not indicating that she is not fighting for trans women rights or for trans people right in general, and her feminism is clearly inclusive of trans women. She said it multiple times, and I don't really see how her answer really says the opposite. Also, I think it's a bit, like when someone has done and said so much about feminism and for women of color, and when someone, is not saying trans women are not women, trans women do not sit with us, trans women are not to be heard. When someone doesn't say any of this, and when someone clearly says that, trans women do belong to feminism and to womanhood, and I think jumping too quickly on backlashing that person or like criticizing this person that harshly is not it's not the smartest thing to do, honestly. So I do think that some point needs to be discussed without any hitting or hatred. For me, honestly, just like we say that women of color do not have the same experience as white women, I think it's safe and fair to say that trans women do not have the same experiences as cis women. And I do also agree with Adichie when she says that for her, gender is about experiences. It's not new. It's Simone de Beauvoir said it before, lots of women said it before. First of all, the first point to say that trans women do not have the same experience as cis women, I think it's a very logical point. And I want to say it's kind of like in two moments. Trans women do not have the same experiences after transitioning or after living the fact that they're transgender, just being safe enough or being comfortable and confident enough to just be out, I suppose, as trans. Then they don't have the same experiences, the same struggle, the same hardships as a cis woman. But it's also fine and fair to say that trans women, before either transitioning or just deciding to live as women and transgender women, they don't have before that the same experiences as women or as people that were born female. So I think that saying trans women do not have the same experiences as cis women is healthy in the sense that, and crucial and necessary in the sense that we need to talk about depression, about rape, about suicide, about bullying, about physical violence, about passing, all those things, but we also need to talk about what it was like before, not only because it's factual, it's like facts, but also because there are a lot of issues on how we approach trans kids, for example, or trans teenagers, or how people discover that they're trans. It's still so, for so many people, at least from what I've heard and understood and read, it's still so difficult and painful that there is definitely something we need to talk about. And this is definitely different from being born a woman, like biologically. I'm not saying that trans women are not women, I'm just saying all women have different experiences. There is not one similar experience of womanhood and of being a woman. Just as like there's no one experience that's the same as another experience of being transgender. That's kind of like where the problem arises. Because I've heard the exact same thing as Adichie said being said by trans women. The fact that they used to be perceived as men and perform as men and therefore had male privileges. But it's not the case for every woman, trans woman. The thing is, some trans women did not have male or men privileges because they were seen as too feminine, because they were not performing their male gender correctly according to society, or because people thought they were gay, or people thought they were weird, and they had to face a lot of hardships and a lot of struggle. But it's also not the case for all trans people, be them trans women or trans men. Some were performing their gender, like, you know, their at least the gender they were assigned at birth or they were born with, sort of. They were performing what other people saw them as, be it male or female, you know, very well. It didn't mean that they were happy. I'm just saying they were corresponding to what a man should be and what a woman should be. And in that scenario, yes, those trans women had male and men privileges before. It does not make them any less or any worse, but it does mean that they had a different experience. And I do think it means they're a very interesting and important voice in feminism, because they are women who can talk about the experience of being seen and perceived as a man if they want to and if they feel comfortable. They're individuals, but they are individuals who can choose to use their voice to say that sort of things. So the thing is, I really think it's important to draw the line between what we can talk about generally, but also what really comes down to the individual, and also make sure that we are not erasing the experience of being transgender. Because so many, honestly, I've seen so many trans women online being like, there's nothing wrong with it. For me, I'm a trans woman. I don't necessarily want to pass 100%, and I don't want to pretend that I'm a cis woman. Those women need to be heard as well, in my opinion, and I think it doesn't make them any less or any more than someone who's transgender. It does not want to give that much room or that much importance to their transgenderism. It's up to each individual to decide how much room, how much importance, and how much visibility they want to give to their transgender experience and identity. Maybe some trans women did perform very well as men for a rather long time, and therefore they had male privileges. I think that's the truth, you know. Also, I think one point that's very important is that in safe, inclusive, feminist spaces, we should encourage discussions between all people, because those discussions are healthy, important, and necessary. And it's a given. In those discussions, some people are gonna be, you know, hurt or offended. Some people are gonna be ignorant about a few things and will learn. Some people are gonna express themselves badly. It's a given. But it should not prevent us from having those discussions, because it's gonna make us stronger, more educated, more united, and it's gonna make us walk towards our final goal and aim, which is equality of rights, but also a real change in mentalities and just ways of perceiving gender and perceiving people and sexualities and sexual identities. You know, backlashing someone that strongly is only, I think, gonna reduce the possibilities of having those healthy discussions. That's what I wanted to say. Let me know what you think of these guys, honestly, and honestly, if you think I've said anything that was wrong, please correct me, while keeping in mind also that, you know, I haven't really scripted the video, and also I am not a native English speaker, so sometimes, you know, I might not use the best words, but it doesn't necessarily mean that I'm using those words because I want to hurt anyone. It's sometimes just the only word that comes to mind. Thank you for watching this video, guys, and I shall see you later. Bye!